The update on Miles. Wow. He has just recently turned 19. Literally just moved out yesterday from my house, back to his mother's for the summer, and then he's off to school. There was a delay in school, so because of COVID, he's been working and he's been living with me, and we've been traveling a little bit and just having good father son moments and times. And now he is kind of in that departure mode, you know. Yeah, so he's just kind of like growing into himself. He's a young man and he's got a mind of his own, and a huge heart, and he's in a relationship and he's going to college. And I can't wait to just kind of like just see where the tide takes him, where he, better yet, where he decides to kind of direct himself and how he chooses to live his life beyond being, under his mom's roof or my roof, which probably will be forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you go home and you're all of a sudden a kid again. Years ago, it would have been a little bit more like, I don't know if I'll be able to handle that. But just like everything else in parenting, you know, when you get to that stage, it's like, oh, okay, that's what's happening now. 5 years ago, I would have been like, no way, there's no way, or so right now, I think I am just in the beginning stages of really understanding that this is that beginning, that real beginning of letting go, of not attaching. And I want to be able to show him, or have him feel that, I'll speak for on my behalf, that dad's good. I can leave. I'm not leaving him behind. He's got his own life he's living. And I think that was always, I think I would have done it regardless. But having a kid, raising a child, I have family members that, being a parent was it. That was it. That was actually my mom. That was her main focus. She didn't really focus on work or other things outside of being a mom. And now that was wonderful up until a certain age. And then when, like, you know, kids start leaving, then the parent is sort of like, well, what about me? What do I do now? And I'm good. I'm good. I'm focused. I've got my own life. Doesn't say that I'm not going to miss him, but there's conscious effort in not attaching and really being like supportive in shoving him off, and knowing also that like he's good to go. He's really good to go. There, I'm not worried beyond the typical things of people going out into the world. But non-attachment, understanding that everything's temporary. I can't hold on to this. It's not going to last forever. So enjoy the ride. I've enjoyed it up till now. It seems like a lifetime ago he was born, and it's been incredible. And I have a feeling it'll just keep getting better and better. It already has, just the conversations we have. And he has his own set of beliefs and understandings and perspectives on life. And it's so cool to have these conversations where I'm like, hey, that didn't even expect to hear that, because he reads and watches videos and lives life beyond, what I'm sharing with him. So I'm excited to see him just continue to grow and blossom, if you will. My favorite parts of being a dad over the years, obviously have really shifted and changed. And I think there are a lots of different, you can have your top 10, top 100. But, you know, looking back, I'd say one of the favorite moments is, when it's 4:30 in the morning and he's awake for the day, and you're in the room, it's dark outside. I remember clearly, like reading books and playing these little games as he's just an infant still, and you're just laying there kind of half asleep, so tired, but like you can't help but just see this beautiful human being kind of like relying on you in so many ways. And So I look back on that. In the moment, I probably wouldn't have said that's going to go down as one of my favorite moments, but gosh, I'll give a few. I mean, watch him and play sports. I love sports. I played a lot of sports, so seeing him play and choose his own. I'm sure like he played baseball because we like to play baseball in the backyard, but like I never forced anything upon him. It was all done at his own will, and it was really fun to just see him out there and struggling and failing and succeeding, sitting in the bleachers and kind of rooting him on with the other parents. That was really, really cool. Traveling around the world quite a bit. I mean, when he was 3 months, we took him to Kauai. That was his first, splash in the ocean. Carrying him in the baby Bjorn on walks and in the backpack on the Nepali coast, like just, I guess, the adventure um, and responsibility of making sure this little human you know, doesn't doesn't die on your watch, or you just it's that just that care, the love, the attention, the time. It's a really beautiful quote unquote job, and I'm just so blessed and lucky and happy that have been through it. I'm 51 this year and he's 19. I feel like it's the perfect kind of, for me anyway, perfect age and time in my life to watch him kind of go off and do his thing. Maybe to circle back to the initial, thought, was my favorite thing about being a dad. I guess it's all the stages. It's the relationship from moment one all the way to now, and all the beautiful uh, meals and wake up, go to school, dropping them off at school and just everything. It's wow, a little mildly choked up there, but yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. And then, like I said, I'm really happy that he's moving on. It just means new experiences for us to have, and like visit him at school and go on, different types of travel experiences and vacations. And yeah, so just the whole thing. The whole thing is my favorite part. There's a protective quality. It's like I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want him to fall necessarily, in the broader sense of the word. So, I feel like that's where I probably could have maybe improved just a little bit, is to make more space for, he never really needed much discipline, but more space for falling, brush yourself off. Not that like, get up, stop crying, nothing like that, but like let the fall happen, let the understanding or cultivation of skills and how to repair and get back up on your feet. And so I think he's good to go on that. But my inclination is to be like, oh, you're going, be careful here, be careful there. But you learn a lot when you fail and fall and have some hard times. So I kind of hope he's got a few hard times he's got to work through. One of the things that I really stand behind as a dad, as a caregiver in that way, is to always have it's an open, let's say, open dialogue of, let's figure it out, let's figure this out together, rather than like, okay, they did something wrong, right? Now the discipline, I'm right, you need to listen to me. Dun, 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 dun. Instead, and maybe there's a time and place for that, depending on the severity of the thing they've done wrong. But I've always said to him along the way, from when he could start to comprehend, what it meant was, if we bumped up into a situation or a scenario, my reaction would be like, first of all, I'm new at this. You're 5 or 6 or 7. I've never raised a 5, 6, 7-year-old, so I don't want to go off of how my parents did. I want to like kind of create a new a new pathway, and the pathway is communication, and it's asking, okay, well, how did that feel? And not in that like uber like, well, how did that feel? It's more like how did that feel when you did that? Let's talk it through. I'm trying to figure it out myself. So to show, like, not to show so much vulnerability that they feel like, what's going on here? I got no support. He doesn't know what he's talking about or doing. Like, I got you, but I'm also like open to a dialogue. Like, let's figure this out together and, move on. So I feel like that has been a huge um, benefit in the entire duration of the relationship of father son, of dad and Miles. And I think he's really appreciated that, and it's given him that sense of empowerment, like, okay, yeah, I have a say in this. It's not like my dad's just saying like, I'm right, you shut up, go to your room. That was a little bit of like part of my growing up, and I felt like I didn't really learn from some of the things. It was just more like, I'm never going to do that because I'm scared. I'd rather have a little more intelligence around it, a little more like, oh, okay, that's why, that's what happens when you do that. Okay. So accountability and responsibility. So I think that's my advice. Long winded, but that would be my advice.